All right. Welcome, everyone, to the MMOs.com podcast, episode 173. Altai joined this week by...
Remote, also known as Cool Guy 69.
Oh, I saw that last week in the comments.
That's my alter ego, Cool Guy 69. All right.
It's a good alter ego.
It is. I should use it a bit more often. I think I mentioned the story about where I was using the name Cool Guy 69 before on Dota 2 on one of my server accounts, and I played against somebody named Soccer Mom 69. What are the odds? I was Cool Guy 69 and I met Soccer Mom 69. We were on opposing teams though, but that was love right there. It was destined. You know, I should have messaged him after the game. But being a good sport, a good Dota sport, at the end of the game, I reported them for cheating at the end of the game. All right, good, nice, friendly little report for them.
Classic. Canaris, who is the guy with the glasses? Is handsome. Why? Thank you. We'll both take that as a compliment.
And one more little thing I want to mention this week. I think I mentioned last week that the Jam City guys gave us some free shit, right? They gave us that swag bag. I put a picture on Twitter. You can just show it on stream if they haven't seen it yet already on my Twitter feed. But I got another package for them today actually, and for some reason the folks over at Jam City want to give us a swag bag, and they asked my address, and I said I ignored the email because I don't want their swag. They make mobile games. They're unrelated to what we do, but they sent me that swag bag, and it had an apron and a oven mitt in it. So I took a picture of it and put it on Twitter. I'm like, all right, this is weird, but I'll take it. And they gave us another package, and it's the same thing. I have another apron and another oven mitt. We have now 2 oven mitts and 2 aprons.
Well, you do need 2 mittens, so one hand doesn't get too cold.
I guess I put one apron on the front and one on the back to cover my ass chaps, and I walk around naked in the kitchen. Is that what this is for? I got double the swag now, though.
Is it the same character, this panda guy?
It's the same panda thing. Why would they send me a second one? The second one came a week later, and they must have seen that I got the first one because they're Jam City, the official Twitter account, liked my post.
This is their attempt to get a plug every week. So far, it's working. 2 in a row.
So far, they got 2 plugs.
Expect another one next week.
Their mobile games, which are unrelated to our audience. They make these casual mobile games. They make Connect 4 games and like these nonsense casual games that are like not even related to our audience.
The next Candy Crush right there. Jam City boys.
Maybe. First look for Jam City's Harry Potter game. It's gonna happen, J-Bugs.
There's a Jam City Harry Potter game?
They make a lot of like these branded games. I think they're making some Disney games too.
Are they the one with the best Harry Potter game where there's like a guy dying, and if you don't pay money, he dies? Oh my god, remember that meme?
What?
Oh, it's so good.
About? What's the meme?
This is great. I think we covered it when it just came out, but it is worth revisiting. So this is where mobile gaming is going. Okay, is holding kids ransom. So here's the article, and let's read the headline. Harry Potter Hogwarts Mystery forces you to pay or wait to save a kid from being strangled. So this is the scene. There's this kid right here. He's being strangled by this vines, and you can tug at the vines, but it costs energy. So you either have to wait like a couple hours while watching this guy like choke. Okay, or you pay. Like, talk about some aggressive sales tactics. Like,
I love it. This is genius. You're gonna watch your favorite character in Harry Potter die unless you pay money. You gotta tug at the vine 5 times. That's actually hilarious. This is like some next level marketing. This is next level monetization, boys.
Oh, I am a pissed off owl. All right, mobile games pissing me off again before we even get started.
Mobile games are already triggering us pre-game. I like it. Right when we're getting started. This is A+. I'm not sure if they made this game, but they might have. I'm pretty sure they have a Harry Potter game though.
If Tamagotchis came out today, they would allow you to pay. Otherwise, it dies. Definitely.
Honestly, if they had a system like that, they'd make so much money. They would just mint so much money if they had Tamagotchis like that. Unfortunately, everything's going to go more and more pay to win with microtransactions, so that's not going to be so abnormal in the future.
Okay, this is funny. So the kid goes to save the NPC getting choked. It's out of energy. Buy 30 or more energy? Question mark.
I love it.
And then here's the prices. Nice.
How much? That's a reason. It only costs you like $5 to save the kid. All right, just do it. Tug at those vines. Pay your $5.
All right. Well, with that, Omar, big news this week in MMORPG world is the new announced expansion, right?
Yeah, for Final Fantasy XIV. FanFest happened this last week here in Las Vegas. Actually, I didn't go. It was at the Rio. I vaguely knew a couple people that went, but like we were like internet friends, not like not people I talked to regularly, so I didn't go or anything. But obviously I kept up with what's going on. They had a few big announcements this year. Actually, it happens every other year. So this is going to be the third expansion. We had Heaven's Ward, you had Stormblood, and now we have Shadowbringers. So first of all, right off the bat, what an awful name for an expansion. Shadowbringers? The fuck? Like, did they just like find like a 13-year-old kid and ask him what the coolest word would be, like shadow, and like try to make an expansion with that name? Shadowbringers? It's lame. Get it out of here. That's a big thumbs down from Remo on Shadowbringers. But you can see all the goodies here. It's got quite a bit of stuff to look forward to with as with any other expansion. It's a Games 5.0 expansion. It'll be launching in summer of 2019. Getting a new class, world visit system, which lets you basically visit players in other data centers. So basically, server transfers are now free within your own data center, which is awesome, I think.
That's cool.
But if you want to go to other data centers, you got to pay money still. But they did make server transfers through data centers free, which I think is great.
So when you say data centers, does it mean like if I want to go to the Korean server or something?
No, I think there's 3 data centers in North America. So like there's like the player base in America is divided by 3 basically. And if you want to play a different data center in America, you gotta pay money to go to and you can't even play. I'm pretty sure you can't even party with those people on other data centers, if I remember correctly.
Okay, so how does that compare to today's system? So how many data centers are there now?
There's 2. There's 2 now. Instead of 2, there's going to be 3 now.
Are they gonna add more servers?
No, just they're going to divide the existing servers up to 3, which some players are upset about because some of their own, like the people they would raid with, are going to be on other data centers now, like out of nowhere, you know. Whereas before, like you have a group of friends that are all on the same data center, if not the same server, and now on different data centers, they can't like play with each other anymore unless they pay money.
That seems odd to me. Okay,
that is very odd.
I don't play, but I don't see a reason why they're adding a 3rd data center and moving some servers there when they already have a system. They have two data centers, and then servers within them can play with each other. So
I think the logic has to do with just like poor like load balancing. They're having launch issues with, you know, I mean, obviously when Stormblood launched, it overwhelmed the servers, right? So I think by adding another data center, they're trying to, you know, I guess divide the player base up a little more through, I guess each data center has its own server cluster is my guess how the infrastructure works, and they want to avoid just big population problems.
Interesting. I would actually have preferred them to see fresh servers for the 3rd center, because I mean, there's a lot of people now. The game's been out for a long time. Yeah. You know, if I start today, I'm at a huge disadvantage. Not disadvantage, but you know, I'm way behind people who have like multiple characters and houses.
Yeah, of course.
So I think this would be a good opportunity if they want. First of all, I don't think they should add a 3rd center, right? But if they're going to make that one fresh, so everyone is on an even foot there. People cannot transfer over to that one. They cannot party with each other, like speed level you. That would be cool. That'd be cool. But oh well, whatever.
Yeah, but again, the biggest drawback from this announcement that got a lot of people pissed off is, again, like you play with a group of friends, you may not all be on the same server, but you're all in the same data center. And after the move, it could be quite likely that, you know, your friend is not on the same data center as you anymore, and then somebody's got to pay money to move over to your data center. And this kind of came out of the blue. I think they can address this problem by giving everyone affected a free one. Honestly, they should give everyone in the game one free server transfer, and then problem solved. I think they might end up doing that if the outrage is big enough, if they haven't already commented on it. But with the expansion, there's a bunch of other goodies. There's new dungeons. The game's level cap is going to go to 80. And I think when a game, you know, a game is adding a big update when the level cap goes up. Like that's my rule of thumb. If an update is a big update or not, you know, when the level cap is going up, it's a big update. And Final Fantasy 14, that kind of applies doubly so, only because the game's multi-classing system. You can have all these characters on one character. So you know, it gives you so much more to do on one character with the level cap going up. There's a new class coming out, likely the Gunblade. It's not like officially announced, but it's basically announced. And they're adding a new race as well, the Viera, which is the bunny girl from Final Fantasy 11 and other Final Fantasy games. Not 11, Final Fantasy 12. I'm pretty sure there might have been other games as well.
They don't have a bunny girl yet? That's surprising.
But the bunny girl, it's not official, right? But like, it's basically official because they didn't outright announce it yet, if I remember correctly. Actually, they might have. They were hinting at it, and even with the Gunblade, I'm pretty sure they didn't outright announce it, if I remember correctly. But they very much hinted at it. And the only other class they did announce was the Blue Mage, which will be launching before the expansion, actually, because the Blue Mage will be coming out in patch 4.5, whereas the expansion will be patch 5.0. And that got a little bit of drama as well, a smidgen of drama as well, because the Blue Mage isn't a real class. It's not like the same way every other class works. Instead, they'll be maxed out at level 50 instead of 80 with the expansion. In fact, level 70 is already the current cap. So when Blue Mage launches, they can only be reached level 50, and you can't do duties. Or you can't join roulettes.
What's a duty? What's a roulette? You got to be a little more general with these statements.
All right, they're basically queues. You can't queue up for dungeons with a Blue Mage, and instead you can only do like solo content or manually invite people to your party and then do content with them that way.
Oh, so you can still do dungeons with them, but you got to just manually invite them.
You have to manually invite them. And remember, they cap out level 50, so they won't be useful at all at current content or anything beyond like base game content, which is Realm Reborn. So it's going to cause a lot of issues, I think. And it's kind of weird they made a class like that. And I think they said because they're having a lot of trouble balancing the class, because the way Blue Mage works is they get abilities by like sucking abilities out of other monsters they fight. And it just, I guess they threw balance away and they gave up trying to make it fair and balanced. And they just made it like its own thing. It's not meant to be a competitive class. And it's not going to be really partaking in raids.
You know, actually, when you first described that to me in private, I didn't realize they could still manually invite people to parties.
Yeah.
And personally, I think that's okay. I'm against queue systems in overall. So, you know, one of the big hype things about, you know, WoW Classic is the fact that there is no queue system. If you want to do a dungeon, you want to do, you know, something, you got to spam you know, the chat channels, find a group, right click, invite them, you know?
Yeah.
So I don't think that's a problem. I think it's pretty cool.
There is something to be said about that. I think that system where you don't have queues, you don't have auction houses, where players are kind of forced to interact more. I mean, I do think we've been saying for a while that games have gotten a little too convenient, where developers are focusing on making so many like features in the game just too convenient, you know? Like, if you can click M, click somewhere on the map and your character auto runs there, I see the benefit, but it just makes the world feel less meaningful. Like, when I click a button and my character literally runs across the entire world for me, come on, like, what's the point? Like, I should have to explore this area on my own. And I'm glad Final Fantasy 14 doesn't have that yet. I remember when we played Revelation Online, that's Chinese MMORPG, right? Like, at no point did I know where anything was.
No.
Because you click a button, your character runs automatically. There's no incentive to explore the world. Another problem with MapleStory 2 was the same thing. You know, your character kind of like, well, it didn't. I'm pretty sure it didn't auto path you there the way a lot of games do. But you didn't really look where anything is. You were just kind of following the arrow on your head, and that was it. If the arrow on your head wasn't there, you know, at least you can explore a little bit. You know.
Yeah, I agree. All right.
But yeah, I think it's getting too convenient, boys. Too convenient.
Gotta play Blue Mage. You know, actually, I think because of the multi-classing, multi-classing system in Final Fantasy 14, where one character can be multiple classes, it's kind of cool that they have stuff like this, because presumably anybody can level up their Blue Mage on their own.
Yeah, they can. I think they'll be able to do that. Yeah.
Every week's ear madness. I don't know what happened. I don't know what's going on here, boys.
I think at least I think somebody mentioned in the chat that they're just doing this to play with it, which is fine. But at least we'll still get another job, the Gunblade, a more traditional job with the expansion. So it's not like we're not getting a job this expansion. We're still getting one. But the Blue Mage is gonna be kind of a fun idea for them to toy with. They ended up calling it a limited class, is the phrase they used. So yeah, it's the first limited job in the game. So that's we'll see how that ends up working out. But who knows? You know, it was probably the most requested job because it was in Final Fantasy 11. And basically all the jobs we get in Final Fantasy 14 are basically coming from 11 anyway, so there's no surprise with that one. No dancer just yet, though.
I would love to see more experiments like this where they design certain classes that can't, you know, maybe do the raids or whatever, or dungeons with people, but are much harder to level, but much more powerful, you know?
Indeed. So I'm pretty sure there is something wrong with your mic, Altai. So what happens is, like, sometimes I only hear you out of one ear. So maybe after this podcast, you should try fixing your setup. Because it happened last week too, but it wasn't like so bad that, like, I don't know. It's
strange. I mean, no one complains about it, you know, on Discord or in games.
I think just on stream.
Maybe something with the interaction with OBS. That's weird. Okay, I will look into it. Maybe I'll stream on my personal channel.
Yeah, just figure it out.
Guinea pigs test it for me.
Right, that's the biggest. I think probably the biggest MMORPG news of the week was Final Fantasy 14's expansion and whatnot. But the game is kind of really slow right now because until the expansion launches in summer of 2019, there's not much else to do. We're not going to get a lot of new content till then. Obviously, patch 4.5 will get people excited when the Blue Mage comes out. Again, that's sometime between now and summer of 2019. But, you know, I think we mentioned, I think 3 weeks ago, Square Enix's numbers are not looking good for MMOs. The MMO revenue is basically at a 2-year low because there's a lull in new content. You know, Final Fantasy 14, you know, we're at the last cycle, the last bit of Stormblood of the latest expansion, and there's been nothing since then, nothing big since then. So hopefully with Shadowbringers, and I still hate the name of the expansion, Shadowbringers, things will, you know, pick up again, and we'll see where they get to. Because if you remember correctly, if you remember last time, Yoshi P did say that when Stormblood launched, they had a peak number of subscribers. Like, they had the highest subscribers they ever had before. So we'll see if we get a similar statement after Shadowbringers. And if that happens, we know that Final Fantasy 14 is definitely not dead and still growing. And just look at the numbers now is not fair, though, because, again, we're at the end cycle of the expansion phase right now. So it's going to obviously be dipping out for a bit.
I have a great highlighted bullet point here. I know Chaos Shield in chat will love this one. New Game Plus system can replay the whole main story quest or side job quest, but without level sync. So if you didn't get enough of that first 200 hours of monotonous single player content, you can do it all over again.
Yeah, I don't know who's asking for that because I can't imagine people actually want to do that. In fact, everyone I know that has like alt characters that make second characters, like they hate the fact that they do the story again. But now at least it's there if you want to run through the content again. I mean, the game gave you an option to view all the previous cutscenes if you wanted to, but I guess you couldn't see all the storytelling because like it wasn't always in cutscene format, right? So now you can redo all those goodies if you want to.
So is this teaser trailer worth watching?
It's like a CGI trailer. Some people thought it was kind of cool. Put it on while we talk about it too.
Sure.
But
I kind of hate these CGI trailers, to be honest.
Honestly, what I'm excited to, what I'm most excited for, in terms of more reveals, is going to be the theme song for Shadowbringers, because I think Final Fantasy 14 is some of the best music I've heard in an MMORPG, especially their songs with lyrics. The Answers song I think is top tier. It was with Realm Reborn. I'm sure you've heard it before. If you put it on, you'll find it. There was Dragon's Song with Heaven's Ward, which is phenomenal. They dropped the ball a bit with Stormblood. The Stormblood theme song was wholly unmemorable. I'm hoping they do a good job with the Shadowbringers theme song because I absolutely love Dragon's Song and Answers. And when I play Final Fantasy 14, in my when you go to my guild house, for example, like it plays in the background Answers, and it's just such a great song. And Dragon's Song fits the theme beautifully with the expansion as well. So I'm hyped for what they end up coming out with for Shadowbringers because I think one thing Square Enix does really well is music for all their games. So I'm hoping they continue that.
I know we said it before, but you mentioning, sitting in your guild house reminds me again. Somebody started one of those the change.org petitions and get Square Enix to sell little arcade kiosks for people's houses in Final Fantasy that contain Square Enix games like Final Fantasy 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Mm-hmm. That'd be pretty cool.
I think it'd be amazing. It'd be another reason to hang out in housing. And I do think player housing in MMORPGs is still an area that's wholly untapped for a lot of games. Even in Final Fantasy 14, I think it does housing better than most games, only because all the housing areas in one spot. So this is an experience I've had in Final Fantasy 14 I haven't had since the days of Ultima Online, where basically I'm jumping around my house, trying to climb on my roof, just doing fun platforming shit randomly while waiting for people. And like I'll see my neighbor next door. I'll be like, hey, like what's up, dude? And like we'll just talk because like he's literally my neighbor in the game. And beyond that, like that's it. That's the only connection to me. But, like I'll talk to him and become my friend in the game because he's my neighbor. And I'll see like he's decorating his house. It's a fun little way to create extra interactions between players. And I think MMORPGs are meant for these social environments and interactions. Like I have friends in the game who talk about who like, oh, that guy, oh, he's my neighbor. Like everyone has like their neighbor in Final Fantasy 14, and it's somebody you know. It's like you're almost like when you go to college, you get a roommate, right? You get a dorm mate. It's your your fellow person you share your dorm with in college. You get to know somebody.
Hello, fellow person.
Yeah, I think it's really cool that the Final Fantasy 14 has that, but I just wish it didn't have I wish it had one big housing district instead of having like 60 instance housing districts, each with like 60 plots or something. Because it's kind of it's still instance, but each instance has like 60 houses in it. So everyone kind of has their own neighbor. It's another extra interaction. It's kind of neat, but I wish they did a little more with it.
They should sell like studio apartments in the cities.
They do. They have studio apartments. They have apartments in the game too. Because...
No. I mean like not in separate instances.
In the cities.
In the main cities. That'd be cool.
That would be really cool.
It'd be like living in Manhattan. It's only for the rich people.
Imagine like you get a place in like Limsa or Ul'dah or anything. It'd be cool if they're like persistent, right? So
yeah,
there's only like maybe like 10 apartments in all of one major city, and they're in location like it's a persistent area. That'd be really cool. And I guess, but they couldn't. They did. I don't think it figured out because like for some reason Square Enix doesn't like using a market-based approach. So there's always like persistent housing shortages on the big servers where like you just can't get houses. Like there's no good system for housing. It's a nonsensical free for all where the prices are set way below demand. So it's just a mega rush for new housing every time they add a new housing zone. It's really poorly done. I somebody mentioned in the chat too. I think mega crappy username that lore. 99% of people don't care about lore in MMOs, and I do think that is correct for the most part. But for Final Fantasy 14, I would say a lot of people care about the lore. Obviously, not everybody, but I think Final Fantasy 14 has more players interested in lore than most games. I think besides Final Fantasy 14, probably Star Wars: The Old Republic is the only other MMORPG where people actually care about the lore. Because it's Final Fantasy, it's got a lot of hardcore loyal fans, and it does at least try to tell a story, even though most of it is nonsensically bad, in my opinion. There are just nuggets of really good storytelling in there somewhere. There is a needle in that haystack. So I think people do care about it a lot. For me personally, and I think for a lot of my friends, they're not crazy about it, but it's there.
Yeah, I think there's two styles with lore, and I think, like you said, Final Fantasy 14 and Star Wars: Old Republic take one approach, which is storytelling, and other games take a story showing experience, like where you get the lore indirectly. So EverQuest is a good example. I don't actually know like the chronology of EverQuest, but just by exploring the zones, you kind of get a feel of like, you know, who like the king is in each zone or whatever, you know. So that's my preferred method.
I mean, I think that's just honestly a better method, because I still remember when we played EverQuest, like we discover like ruins in like hidden somewhere in the woods or something, and like whoa, what is the meaning of this, right? Or like we go to these buildings in like Quenos, right? We'll find like these portraits on the wall, like what do these mean? We go like to the aqueducts of like this town that were like hidden, like what does it mean? These NPCs are saying random shit, like what are they referring to? They're being sneaky. There's like some shady dealings going on between these guards in town, like.
I remember these guards. Really cool. These guards would like talk about the queen and how they're like, you know, like they're upset about something with the government, and they weren't talking to you. They were talking to each other, and you just got pieces as you walked by. You never stopped to talk to them, but you walked by and you just saw it in your text box. So that was nice.
Storytelling like that, I think, is very interesting. Where it kind of like it's there for people that want to do it, and it doesn't force it down your throat for everyone else. Because I think a lot of people would enjoy Final Fantasy 14 if it didn't shove the story down your throat, right? Which it's a really weird place. I think Star Wars Roll Republic might be in the same boat as well. Like people that want to play MMOs for the gameplay, or you know, the rating and the community aspects. Like you could do all the community aspects of an MMORPG without the story. Storytelling and MMORPGs don't have to be like synonymous with each other, right? And there's more to MMORPGs besides just gameplay, right? So people that want to avoid the story are never going to play a game like Final Fantasy 14. It's just not going to happen because you can't skip the story. So they're going to play World of Warcraft instead. But I think a lot of those players would enjoy playing Final Fantasy 14 if they could just get past all the story stuff. And you can always say, yeah, you can just pay money to skip that shit, but like, I don't know, most people aren't going to default to paying their way to skip the content.
Yeah, and I think this is a bad sign of storytelling, where I'm playing a game and then somewhere in the game my character stands still, and it is 20 minutes of just exposition thrown at me. And I suspect there's a lot of that in Final Fantasy 14.
There is. In fact, again, the very often Final Fantasy 14, it'll be like, warning, there's a long series of cutscenes in front of you. Like, before you click proceed, make sure you get set enough time to watch all of these. I think some of those are unskippable too.
I think it's unacceptable in a single-player game. Now, the fact that they have this in a multiplayer game, not just a multiplayer game, but an MMORPG, is like it's a huge barrier to entry.
And again, a lot of people do want it. I accept that.
Who wants that? Like, I think most people are okay with they tolerate it. They tolerate it. Nobody wants that. They don't want to sit there for 3 hours and have exposition thrown at their face.
No. I have friends, every time a new expansion comes out, they eagerly go through all the new story content. And that's the first thing they do. Like Canaris, for example, like when a new expansion comes out or a new patch comes out, even, right? Every patch adds new story content, and the first thing he does is go through all the story content, which is fine. You know, I think you can. There's nothing wrong with that. And at the end of usually there's a nice 30-minute cutscene, and you know, at the end of each patch too. So it's normal. And like, people are into Final Fantasy game. People like that stuff.
Look, I love the story campaigns in Warcraft 3, for example, right? And you know, basically the way we're at the beginning of each campaign, there's like a 5-minute story, and at the end of the campaign, there's like maybe like a 10-minute story scene, right? But you can't just sit someone down for 2 hours. Like, come on, like it's a movie. It's a movie in the middle of your game. Here, oh, you want to clear this dungeon? Watch a movie first. Like,
if it's done well, I think it's fine. But like I said, Final Fantasy 14 has very hit or miss. Some parts are great, other parts are not so great. So I have mixed feelings about it. I do think there should be nothing. I think everything in every game should be skippable. You should be able to skip all the story at any time if you want to. Yeah. That's a must for me. It's unacceptable for unskippable content.
The 2 hour cutscenes or dialogue scenes should be there. Fine, I get that. But they should be like in the side room where you talk to the guy and then go through it. Not like you must watch this before you can proceed. Like, come on.
Yeah, I agree. And again, most of our memories from MMORPGs, I don't think comes from storytelling anyway. I mean, we make our own stories and our own like experiences in MMORPGs. I mean, just like last night, I was trying to do like there was resets for Final Fantasy 14. I was trying to kill some bosses, get some loot, right? And I had a pretty terrible experience with this party. And I specifically remember this one guy's name. I'm not gonna say it on the stream, but like, I have personally blacklisted this guy in my mind. Like, if I see this guy ever again, he's instantly get kicked out of my parties, and I guarantee he gets kicked out of my group. Like, I made my own enemies or my own list of like shitty people. Like, that like I'm gonna avoid at all costs. And for some reason, like I argue with this guy in party chat too. Like, I let him know how bad he is. Right? He had to know. Like, he had to know how bad he was. I had to tell him. All right. Like, and he fought back a little. It was pretty fun. Like, just little interactions like that, whether it's out of frustration or whether it's just out of like meeting friends. These are the experiences I play MMORPGs for. And yes, that includes the negative. Fighting like getting into a flame war with a random person online is a memorable experience, and it's fun, and it creates a memory, which I like. It gives, you know, it makes you feel alive. All right. I was kind of like vegging out, playing on autopilot last night, and getting to this random flame war with this guy. it really brightened my evening. All right, it was a little bit out of frustration, but it got the blood flowing. You know, like I was completely clocked out. Basically, I was on full autopilot because if you play any MMORPG, you always get to a certain point in the patch or in the update, whatever, wherever you're on the MMORPG where you play on autopilot. Right, we're doing these resets. I can do it with my eyes closed. It's complete autopilot for me. So like, I'm basically playing without even thinking about it. Right, but like, I went ham on this guy in party chat, and it was great.
Who won?
Whew. I don't think anybody wins in those situations. Ultimately, the party disbanded, and we didn't kill the boss. But like, it was kind of my fault too because I should have checked like the ratings on these guys, like their logs, to see if they were any good. And I checked afterwards. Everyone was gray. Like everyone was gray or green, meaning they were awful. So they were like bottom 20% of players. And the problem is these fights are designed that you can carry those bottom 20% players, no problem. But you can't have a party full of bottom 20% players. Otherwise, it will just never get done. You need a couple of good players in there, and I was the only good player in the party.
Nice.
So who knows who won?
Okay, so recently, this reminded me of something. I was recently been playing Darkest Dungeon. It's a single-player game. It's a roguelike. Very difficult game. You know, if you die, you got to start all the way over. And there's a sound clip from the game that I really think applies to everything, whether it's an MMORPG raid, anything. So I'm going to play that quick clip. It's like 10 seconds, 8 seconds. Here we go. Let's see if you guys agree.
Boys.
Where there is no peril in the task, there can be no glory in its accomplishment.
That's it. I think that's so important, okay? Especially in a game like when you're doing some kind of team effort against either PvP or PvE. You need to be able to, you got to risk something to win something, I think. And too many games today have removed the risk part.
100%. 100%. It feels that like, it's weird, but like, even playing Final Fantasy, like, we lose nothing for, like, the only thing you really risk is wasting time, right? I do feel like there was a bit more consequence in basically every MMORPG I play. Dying is nothing but an inconvenience. When we played Maple Story 2 as well, like, sometimes you just die. It was inconvenient. Nothing happened.
Nothing
right?
happened.
Nothing happens. And in almost any game you play, dying is just a very minor inconvenience. I do wish there was a little bit more. That Darkest Dungeon quote is rings true for me, at least.
Yep. And remember, we said it last week again. Maple Story 1, if you died, you lost 10% experience, and that was a couple hours of gameplay.
Oh yeah, dying in Maple Story 1 was a heartbreak. You're like, fuck, I set myself back like hours. And it was real pain, you know. And that pain started at like level 35, 40. You know, you die at level 35, that's like 2 hours of grind out the window. And it was the worst feeling in the world. And but that's what kept me coming. And I played Maple Story 1 forever. You know, it was great.
Indeed. All right. Well, let's move on to MOBAs for a minute. MOBAs. How about that?
All right. I love MOBAs. Let's talk about MOBAs.
So League actually is doing something with Marvel. Did you hear about this?
No, I did not.
So League of Legends, Marvel, they're making a comic book about Ashe, the archer lady.
All right, nice.
So
I
think
don't know
it's
anything
smart.
about Ashe. All I know is Ashe is she's an ice archer. She's a generic ice archer girl.
Well, you're in
Kinda
luck.
hot.
You're in luck. Time to learn about her through Marvel. I'm not gonna.
Smart though, because they're building out the characters.
I think it's really smart. I think it's about time that, you know, I think actually League squandered the best years of their game by not doing these kind of tie-ins, right?
Mm-hmm.
We could have had like a dozen Marvel League movies by now if they got on this ship a little sooner, you know?
But there's no reason not to flesh out the characters. I mean, they've been doing a decent. I mean, probably the thing that they're best known for is making those music videos. I'm sure you've seen the KDA music video with with Ari Akali and a few of the other League girls with the K-pop singers. I thought that was really good. It's got over 70 million views on YouTube, and it kind of like builds the character. Again, they're not really the characters because again, they just kind of put the characters in these weird situations where they end up being a band or something. But it's a fun way to build out their franchise and get players better connected with the actual characters themselves. But I think graphic novels or other lore content like that would be even better for it, because there are people that really care about lore in these games. Me, I don't really give a shit. I've never really cared about the lore in League of Legends or Dota 2 or any MOBA, but I'm sure there are people that would be very interested in this.
Yeah, we'll see where. Yeah, I think it's a good move. I think they should have done it sooner. But hopefully, you know, these characters. So many people our generation, right, have spent countless hours with these characters. Like you know, for me it's Dota, right? But there are Dota heroes I've played 100 times more than I've like looked at like Spider-Man, right? Or like or whatever, you know, these heroes. Yeah. So they have a lot more cachet with me in terms of these IPs and characters than superheroes or whatever. So it's amazing to me that they squandered all that time, but finally I think they're catching up.
Yeah, I have a not exactly related, but a little bit of further drama with League of Legends, which I think you might find amusing.
Oh, I always love drama.
So there's a Tumblr post about a ex-Riot employee. It's a very short post. The gist of this post is basically Arizona Bay. There's an artist or somebody that worked on. I think it was an engineer or an artist. Somebody worked on the character you can see over there. It's showing out Akali from the KDA music video. So he goes, I worked on this girl for 9 months. Now this music video comes out, and then she's one of the most popular characters in the universe for League of Legends. And this person referring to Akali, they were one of the designers or engineers that worked on the Akali rework. It looks like. So apparently they're saying I work super hard. My bosses kept telling me like I'm doing a good job and I keep working harder. And what happened is like as soon as it's released, as soon as that character gets released that they were working on, they get fired. Like, thank you for working. Get out of here.
I actually read this, and it's very vague. So I would like to know what her employment status was. Was she an employee of Riot or was she a contractor?
Yeah, I was curious about that too. But what I found most surprising about this, now obviously Riot's had a lot of ex-employees lashing out. They've had some sexual harassment allegations. They've been in the news a lot for a lot of negative things. But what struck me most about this blog post wasn't really their experience about being fired from Riot Games. I don't really care about that personally, and we don't have enough details to really judge that, right? So it's not the purpose of me bringing this story up.
Mm-hmm.
What I found most remarkable is that the first sentence of this post, worked on this girl for 9 months.
Are you pregnant?
Right? Well, are you pregnant? Okay, I didn't think about that, but that's pretty good too. But it takes 9 months to redesign a single character in League of Legends. What the fuck? 9 months?
I mean, by the way, do you know how many people work at Riot? So I'm not surprised.
Yeah, thousands apparently. But like 9 months to make. Again, Akali was already in the game. Okay, they reworked Akali. Okay, so they changed some numbers around, changed their interactions around, and it's saying the community was well received by the community. The community likes playing her. But how can it take this? This is how I know League of Legends is doomed. If it takes you 9 months to rework a character, it's over. It's done. I remember like 6 years ago, they were launching like 2 characters a month. 2 characters a month, or a character a month at least, if I remember correctly.
Well, to be honest, we don't know if her 9-year stint was just with this one character, or if she was working on several projects during that 9 months.
Yes, obviously she was probably working on several projects, right? Yeah. But like maybe I think this character was clearly in the works for a long time. But they probably didn't work exclusively on this, right? They probably worked on other things as well. But it just seems like these reworks are taking way too long. 9 months is insane. I mean, she's clearly saying they worked on this character for 9 months. So at the minimum, this character was in the works for 9 months. This tells me that Riot development, engineering, their process is completely broken. It takes 9 months to do a rework on a character. Look, I get it. If you're starting with nothing, you got a blank notepad document in front of you, and you got to code a game from a blank notepad document. Okay, I get it. It takes 9 months, right? But if you're a multi-billion-dollar company with thousands of employees and an established game, enough money to hire the best programmers, it shouldn't take you 9 months. All right, that's a no-go.
I'm going to disagree with you here. Okay, I actually have a fundamental disagreement. I think if you have a blank slate and an open, empty PDF or empty notepad, it's easier. Because remember, right now, doing nothing. If today, Riot made no more patches, they don't tell you, but they literally stopped working on patches. Yep. League will still bring in millions of dollars a day in revenue, right? There are thousands of people eating their meals from League of Legends revenue. So if you want to change something, right, you are potentially disrupting thousands of people's chicken dinners, right? So there's going to be so many checks and so many layers of management to make sure the change you do doesn't rock this super lucrative boat. So I think it's a lot harder to tinker with a system that's running than it is to build a fresh one.
Well, that's true. Yes, but again, my premise was if you start with absolutely nothing, like a blank notepad document. So obviously it would take 9 months to make the game, make the engine, and then make something functional, then add a character to it, right? But you already have a character, and it wasn't so yes, I get it's kind of like a new character. So it just seems ridiculous. It takes 9 months, but you should play the clip that he was linked over there inside Riot Gaming too. So it's only 1 minute long. Put the audio up. I actually haven't heard this one before,
hallways,
but
and
I
then
saw
I'd
his
stop
previous
at a
clip and I
random.
thought it was really interesting. So let's see how this is.
All right, 3, 2, 1, here we go.
I would walk through these hallways, and then I'd stop at a random desk, and I would meet a person. And I'd be like, what do you do? And they would be like, well, I design champions, and I'm on a team of like 300 or 400 people. And I'm like, oh, that's crazy. And I'm like, what champions have you designed? And they're like, well, I designed like the curvature of Draven's axe, and it took me 6 months. And I was like, what? And they're like, that's all you did? And I'm like, how much do you work? And they're like, I'm generally here like 10 or 12 hours a day. And I'm like, this is fucking crazy. I literally felt like I was I was like being put in an insane asylum where I was the only crazy one and everyone else was normal. I felt that I was going crazy. I would think that I was getting fucking gaslighted because I couldn't fathom how a person worked 12 hours a day and didn't do anything. It was fucking crazy, dude. This happened.
That's pretty amazing. Tencent, this is where your money's going. Come on, pull out.
This is actually
pull the plug.
Insane. And just I haven't heard this guy, but this guy mentioned a different project where like other like problems at Riot Games where nothing gets done, right? And just hearing that it took 9 months for this rework, and I guess this guy worked 6 months to do the curvature of Draven's axe, which basically saying you're just sitting in the office doing nothing for that long. This tells me that Riot is doomed. They're fundamentally doomed unless they can completely like the best thing Riot can do right now is they got to purge the office. All right, you got to start from a clean slate. Fire everyone. 99% heads got to roll. Fire everyone and start over. Either move the development to China or rehire from the ground up because things are moving way too slow. The game is doomed. You can't run a company where you have 300 people work on making one hero. It makes no sense. All of Valve has like 350 employees, and that's enough to churn out content for Counter-Strike Go, add new heroes in Dota 2, and do everything else for all their other games too. It makes no sense.
Well, to be fair, I think they've added like 2 new heroes.
Yeah, that's true. Dota 2's not had a lot of heroes.
Dota 2 has added 3 new heroes since literally 2012.
Yeah, they're nice and slow, but they've been pretty fundamental changes to the map though, and like the way they added talents and stuff to the game. They've done so many balance changes. They've changed a lot though.
Well, speaking of Dota 2, actually, yesterday a huge patch came out. It's called 7.2. Huge changes to I think every hero got at least some kind of change. Yeah. Huge fundamental changes to the way denies work. Denies actually give you money now. So if you deny your own creep, you get like 10% of the cash that it would have given the other guy.
Hoggies.
Yeah. So instead of experience, you get the
does any team still lose experience on it or no?
Well, we can read it together. I don't know. Let's find out. Let me just bring this up. Boom, and Control F deny. And it took me to Tiny. I don't care about Tiny. Or deny mechanic. Denies no longer give the denier 25% experience. Creep denies now give the denier 20% of the gold bounty.
So, does enemy team still lose out on the XP though? I don't know, but it looks like they're changing the system. Well, you're getting reward on gold instead of XP.
Yeah.
I even know denies gave the denier XP. To be honest, I had no idea that's how that worked.
That's also relatively new. Like that's like a year old. Yeah.
Okay, because I'm pretty sure back when I played Dota 2, just denying screwed the enemy out of gold and XP. Interesting. But yeah, Dota 2 does a lot of these fundamental gameplay changes. I mean, they've done a lot of crazy balance changes. They've changed the map countless times.
Oh, the map is so different now.
Yeah. Dota 2 changes a lot. They haven't added new heroes. The game itself changes so much over the years. I mean, not to like praise Dota 2 as like, the objectively better MOBA. I think League is still a great game. I just think the development process and design process at Riot has gotten so bloated that nothing will get done. That game, they got to fix something. They got to move development over to China where shit gets done. All right. In 9 months, China can churn out like 10 new games. All right.
Oh, I know how much you like the stacking mechanic in Dota.
Oh yeah, my favorite. What they do?
So look how weird this is. Stacked neutral creeps now give the stacker 35% of the bounty. So this is some way to help the support, right? So if you stack creeps for and then one of your teammates kills the creeps,
you get bonus for stacking them.
Yeah, you get some of the bounty.
Okay, so what if you stack the enemy team's creeps and the enemy team kills them? Do you get gold from what the enemy team kills?
That's a good question, and I don't know because I haven't played Dota in the past 2 years since they did all this stuff.
Whew, interesting.
But no new heroes, despite the fact that this is a huge patch. Bunch of changes though. If you haven't played Dota in a while, it's a good excuse to go try it. I played it last night. It didn't go well. I basically just trolled in chat, and then we lost. But it was fun.
Somebody said 9 months, lol. One week China can put out a working clone in a month. Yeah, I think they can. I think it's remarkable how fast Chinese devs get shit done. All right, not always good shit, but China gets shit done. All right, they make it happen. And also
Well-
on developed news, we should maybe talk a little bit about Artifact.
Oh yeah, it's coming out very soon.
Yeah, and I linked your article on GameIndustry.biz, I think, or it's a Reddit post that was actually original Reddit post where a lot of articles were based on, where this guy's basically complaining that we this is actually what we mentioned, like when I first read about Artifact and the monetization scheme, this is my first problem with it, and people are realizing it now. It seems like the game is hella like stingy. You got to buy the game for $20, they give you some starter packs, and the only other way to obtain new cards is by paying money. There are no free ways to get cards in the game, period. So you could buy new packs for $2 each. Of course, you can get repeats as well. There's no trade in the game right now, so you can sell cards in the Steam Marketplace for cash, or Steam Bucks rather, and use the Steam Bucks to buy the cards you want. But you can also get cards by doing like this expert mode. It's like this. I think it's an AI challenge or something. But you can only do expert mode if you pay money, like $1 per entry. So there's no other way to get cards by paying, which is, I think, a fundamentally poor business model, and it is not going to work. Why would I ever like? I get that Hearthstone is very expensive if you want to get a lot of cards like really quickly. I get the same Magic the Gathering is the same problem, right? But like charging money up front and then charging money for packs is a double whammy of no. If you're gonna charge money up front, charge $50 to give me all the cards for free, and then we're fine. We're Gucci, right? We Gooch. But no, they're not doing that. They're charging you up front and getting the microtransactions, which is they're having their cake and eating it too. It's a no-go.
It's
Thumbs
very
down.
interesting. They're trying to basically replicate, like you said, the exact physical card game model, right?
Yeah.
So it's not like when I'm playing Magic, I don't get Magic cards out of nowhere, right?
Yeah.
I only get them from packs, or by trading with other players. So they're trying to replicate that identically to digital, where
But that's bullshit. If I want to play Pokemon with you offline, I can just go to my printer and print out the cards and play them with you, which is what we did, by the way. Altai and me, when we were in high school, we were cheap fucks. We wanted to play Magic the Gathering with each other, and we didn't have like some of the really rare, expensive cards. You know what we did? We printed them out. So we got like a shitty Magic card, put it in a sleeve, so it'd be in like a protector, and then we print a card out, the one we wanted, and put it over it, and we just play as if we owned that card, because like you could see it in the card, it was there. We just print all the cards we wanted. So if they want to replicate the offline experience, let me print my goddamn cards.
actually that's funny that you say that, because I remember a few times people would be mad at me because I play them. I'm like, what does it matter? We're playing a game. It's like would you feel better if I just spent like $100 getting these cards? Like, play my deck.
exactly.
You know, like what is the big deal? Like, I wasn't like doing Black Lotus. It was like the current set of cards, right? Like it was like the
Yeah.
T2, what they call it?
Tier 2, yeah.
Yeah, type whatever it's called. Type
It
2.
was basically like the current set. I know Hearthstone has Wild and Classic, or rather Wild and whatever the current set is, right? So it was using the current set.
Yeah, and people will get mad at me. I'm like, dude, you want to play the game with me or not? You want to test your deck or not? Like, who cares if I spent $1,000 on these cards or not? Like, people
Got mad.
I think they got mad because they didn't think of it first. They're like, wait a minute.
Exactly. They're mad that they feel retarded that they spent the money on the cards and you were smart enough to print them out.
Yeah.
Otherwise it's unfathomable to me why a random stranger would get like a little bit salty about it. Like, I get it. You can't go to a tournament using proxies. We get that, right? Because the tournament is sponsored by the game company. They want you to buy the goddamn cards, right? But when we're playing in public with other people, you shouldn't give a shit.
Yeah. And
So,
it's funny.
yeah.
What was I going to say about that? So basically, Omar and I were finding ways around microtransactions before they even existed. All right.
Yeah, exactly. And when you say they were trying to copy the exact offline experience, yeah, they are, but obviously without proxies, right? Because like the offline experience, that was the best part. You could just print the cards you wanted.
Yeah. So
I don't know. Yeah,
I don't think it will
can't
do well either.
what they're doing. There's no way. Hearthstone has already set the precedent. You have Shadowverse, Hearthstone, Magic the Gathering Arena, and there's been so many other free-to-play card games, and obviously most of them have flopped. But even the most successful ones have already set the business model as free-to-play, and you can pay for cards. And it's not like Artifact is being generous by giving away like cards cheaper or something. They're not. They're charging for every pack. It's just the worst of both business. The worst of both worlds.
So I take it you are not very optimistic on this game.
No, I not only am I not optimistic, I've seen gameplay videos and I have no interest in even trying it, which is weird because I played Shadowverse, I played Hearthstone, and I'm playing Magic the Gathering Arena, and I've played like a lot of random card games, but like it looks overly complex as well, which is really weird. Like I want my card game to be complex. I think Magic the Gathering is a very in-depth game, but like it should look intuitive. Like when I look at Artifact, it looks confusing.
So yeah, I agree. I don't like the. Here's the thing too. I played Magic the Gathering Arena with you, and I think it makes me appreciate Hearthstone's presentation so much. Like the graphics, the silly cartoony graphics. You know, it's the little like tavern music playing in the background in Hearthstone. The way the cards like swipe when you're moving them with the mouse. Everything is done like the attention to those details is so important. It brings it together so well. Whereas when I look at this, these cards have like rough edges. Have you noticed that? They're like rectangles. Even that I think is like off-putting. So it's just not a clean presentation. I just think Hearthstone nailed that.
I mean, that's why Hearthstone is the big boy, making like over $400 million a year as of last reported data, and they're making a killing. I do think Magic the Gathering Arena has a chance only because it's Magic, and Magic the Gathering is still the most successful offline card game in the world. And Magic the Gathering Online, I think, was the third highest grossing digital card game in the world, despite Magic the Gathering Online being like 10 years old. So hopefully Magic the Gathering Arena brings it to a more modern era, because I think Magic the Gathering is just a better card game than like anything else I've ever played. It's one of the best card games I've ever played, and it works really well offline, and we'll see if they can make it work online.
It should be noted. I don't know if you mentioned. I forgot if you mentioned it, but this is Artifact is designed by the same guy who designed Magic.
Yeah. Another reason I was hyped for it at first when I started seeing it, though. I mean, if it's free, I'll give it a try, but I can't see myself paying money for it. So if they feel like giving me a free copy, I'll give it a try. Otherwise, I'm not eager.
Well, I'm glad it's on. Valve was making it, and it's on Steam because we can see the numbers, as they progress, and I'm curious to see how it will do.
Mm-hmm. And I wanted to bring up another fun little story, Altai. And we should have mentioned this last week. You never got a chance to bring it up, but I found it pretty remarkable just how much. We talked a lot about Machine Zone and their two garbage mobile strategy games. They had Game of War and Mobile Strike, and what's remarkable is how much both those games fell out of favor. So here's Sensor Tower's post on Mobile Strike. The game made over $1 billion for Machine Zone since release. However, the numbers are down so much. The game had only $4 million of worldwide sales in it looks like August of 2018 versus a whopping 90 million in March of 2017. So the monthly revenues went down from 90 million down to 4 million. So this just shows you how awful this game was, and the only reason it was able to keep generating these revenues was just to absolutely the crazy marketing blitz behind this game.
Yeah, and we did talk about NCSoft's earnings last week, and we saw that mobile is still their biggest moneymaker, more than all their PC games combined. But if you just saw how quickly it declined, their mobile revenue from a few quarters ago when those games just came out, like Lineage 2 Revolution, the churn rate in mobile is so quick. There are a few quality games out there like Candy Crush, quality.
I love how you refer to Candy Crush as a quality game.
Well, what I mean by quality is we've talked about in the pregame, games that can kind of last for years, right? And keep growing for years. So Candy Crush is bigger than ever, and it's still going.
Candy Crush had $128 million in revenue last month.
Right.
Up about 8% from the previous month.
Love it or hate it, right? You don't have to like connecting games, right? But if you happen to like connecting games, I mean, Candy Crush does it just as well as can be expected, right? There's nothing wrong with it. Whereas Mobile Strike is just a garbage game. Like, whatever it's trying to do, it just does it poorly. And whatever Lineage 2 Revolution is trying to do with MMORPGs, it does it poorly. So those games require a lot of marketing spend. They require a lot of buzz and hype, and it quickly fades because it doesn't deliver what the game was promising.
Yeah. Now, Altai, I know you hate these games, but there's one mobile strategy game that's been absolutely killing it lately. Can you guess which one?
Clash of Clans?
No, but that one's always been killing it. But this is a game. Check out this one. This came out recently. 1 year in, Game of Thrones Conquest made $125 million.
I think this will crash
too. This is the same nonsense.
Yeah, it'll crash.
I don't think it's gonna crash for. I
don't
don't think
be here in 5 years. The way Clash of Clans is still here.
No, but here's the thing. I don't think this Game of War Conquest game gets the crazy marketing blitz that
First of all, it's Game of Thrones, so they paid up the wazoo for the IP.
Well, no, it's owned by Warner Brothers. The same company. Warner Brothers makes this game.
Okay, here's a good test for you guys. If a game is good, can it stand without the IP? So Clash of Clans is an original IP, right?
Yes.
It's not like
the IP is obviously carrying this game.
Yeah.
I'm not saying.
So
the reason the game is successful is the IP.
Yes. If you took the IP away from this game, it'd be garbage. It'd be dead tomorrow.
Mm-hmm. Oh, I think so too, for sure. And that's the reason Final Fantasy 15: A New Empire is doing so well. The game is not as heavily advertised as Game of War, and it's the reason it's doing so well is because it's suckering a lot of Final Fantasy fans into this garbage mobile strategy market that they otherwise didn't know. And I think Game of Thrones Conquest is doing the same thing. People that like Game of Thrones are going to try this game and get hooked on it because like the game is designed so well to like flash the right colors in front of your eyes to mind control you into spending money.
By the way, do you know who made Game of Thrones? This game right here?
No.
It was a company we previously called Turbine.
Oh, there you go. Turbine's making mobile strategy games now, boys. They did real fall from grace from making
From Asheron's
DDO,
Call.
Lord of the Rings Online, Asheron's Call. Now they're making mobile Game of War. Game of Thrones, rather.
And they had their name changed. They're no longer Turbine. They're Warner Brother Games Boston.
Nice. But hey, they're making tons of money.
So yeah, look at their quality list of shitty games right here. We got Harry Potter Wizards Unite. They're working on this with Ingress.
Hype.
And then a bunch of IP games that are just probably skins of, other crappy games.
You mentioned Ingress people, Niantic, right? So there was a funny story, a bit of a tangent here, but I thought it was fun. I was on GamesIndustry.biz that Niantic is working with the United Nations
I saw this.
to promote tourism through its games.
Yeah.
So the first thing I thought is imagine Pokemon Go was set up so like every country has only like some of the Pokemon. So like the only way to catch like
To do
like
that.
a Mankey was to go to like Madagascar or something, or like the only way to get like Mr. Mime was to go to like Mosul in Syria. All right, imagine that. Like, wouldn't that be badass as fuck? Like, you see, like you Pokemon battle somebody, right? And he busts out like a Mr. Mime, and like you're looking at this guy. Holy fuck, he's got a Mr. Mime. This guy went to Syria to get this shit. He was in the middle of the fucking Civil War. All right, you don't want to fuck with that guy. That'd be so badass.
I cannot wait for the story where 12-year-old goes to like ISIS territory to capture like a Rattata, a golden Rattata, and then just dies.
Yeah.
But
that'd be amazing.
It is a thing that they have continent-specific Pokemon. So, for example, Tauros is only in North America, I believe, and there's one Pokemon that's only in Asia or Europe. So they have a.
It would be hilarious if like specific Pokemon are country like restricted. So like the most hardcore Pokemon Go players would have to go to like sub-Saharan Africa or like the Congo or Sudan or these like like Yemen, these like war ravaged countries, just like catch a Pokemon. Like I don't know. I think it'd be hilarious.
It'd be too quick for a lashback if someone like does something crazy.
We should make a game like that, a hardcore Pokemon game. Or we can't call it Pokemon, obviously. We gotta call it like the hardcore mobile experience, all right? Of like a pet catcher. Like it's a Pokemon Go clone where you have to go like these war torn areas to catch like OP Pokemon. We need all the hardcore players to do it, all right?
I'm actually hoping that somebody turns the strategy game genre for mobile. So games like Clash of Clans, Game of War, Final Fantasy, Empire, whatever, but incorporates the whole geolocation system into that kind of system. So, for example, you open the app, you start. We're in Las Vegas, so our city or whatever is in Las Vegas. We build the little towers, archers, and then we got that attack other parts in America or the world.
I don't know if the logistics are going to work on that.
Well, I mean, the troops will go on their own. It's not like you have to do anything.
No, I get it, but like, how do you like synergize everybody in Las Vegas to like work together or something?
Well, you don't have to, but like
you're not going to
you'll
because
have a few
everyone's going to
factions.
each other.
No, you'll get alliance clans.
No, it'll be the same shit, but with I don't know. Then
Well, yeah,
no
sure.
countries can work
It'll
together.
be the same thing, but the world map will be the map instead of.
Yes, yeah, exactly. There will be no coordination though. Is what I'm trying to say. Outside
Well,
of the regular guild. And
I
stuff
would be
that
interested
form.
to see if that could kind of emerge on its own.
And there's one other fun quote on GamesIndustry.biz I wanted to share because it kind of goes back to something we've talked about quite a bit. And this is a quote from Ubisoft, and they said loot crates have been a huge boon for the gaming industry.
Oh, I saw this.
And obviously, we've been saying this for a long time too, but getting it straight from the horse's mouth, as they say. If players didn't buy them, they wouldn't be added in the future.
Okay.
So everyone bitching about microtransactions, literally everyone, the ultimate solution is don't buy them. If you don't like them that much, don't buy them. But the reality is, people do buy them, and that's why we're getting them.
Okay, but here's the thing, and I think this defends what I said last week. And it's gonna make me sound like an asshole, but fine. I'm willing to take the bullet.
Take the bullet.
I don't blame the companies, like this guy is saying. I am blaming the people. And I'm going to go a step further than you. I'm not going to tell people don't buy them. I'm going to say you got to call out your friends who are buying them. They're hurting you and they're hurting the industry. You got to call them out. You guys say, hey, you retard, stop buying this shit. Don't buy that skin in Fake Grand Order. Don't buy that, whatever. Don't do it.
Hold on, but you sound like what? So if you're in line at McDonald's, the guy in front of you orders a hash brown. You can be like, "Yo, asshole! Don't buy the fucking hash browns. Buy the McNuggets."
No, that's why I said to your friend,
an asshole, buddy.
If you do it to a stranger, you're an asshole.
But
Absolutely.
it's your friend. Your
Yeah.
friend's in line. He wants to buy the hash brown.
Is he fat? Is he overweight?
No, he's not.
No, but that's not a good comparison then. But if let's say he's got diabetes. Hold on.
You prefer nuggets. You prefer nuggets. He likes hash browns.
No, he's hurting the industry. That's my claim. So if he's hurting himself by buying the McFlurry when this guy's 300 pounds and he got diabetes, and if I'm a friend and I consider myself a good friend, I would say, you idiot, stop buying that.
Okay, Alta, everybody agrees with you. If you're a
Okay.
friend that's addicted and spending like more money than you can afford on mobile games, yeah, I agree. As a good friend, you should call out your friends and protect them from themselves. That applies to like
Yes.
drug usage. It applies to spending more money than you. But
Yes,
but
and
the reality is,
microtransactions.
much of mobile transactions are people just spending money. Like instead of spending, like let's say my gaming budget is like $20 a month, and if somebody blows that $20 a month on waifus in fake Grand Order,
Yeah.
or
Then he's an idiot.
whether he spends on fake Grand Order his $20 or he spends it on World of Warcraft microtransactions.
Then he's
or
a fine
Japan.
gentleman.
No, the point. Why is one a fine gentleman and another one an idiot? They're the same.
Wait,
If he spends $1,000 on
Hold on.
either, there's a problem. You should call him out.
Okay,
But
to
not
be
if
fair, if he spends $20 on a mount in WoW, he's a retard too. But if he pays his subscription, then he's fine.
so anyone who spends money on the mounts or the other microtransactions is an idiot.
Yeah,
Why?
because we're gonna get more of that content and less gameplay content.
And let's say he tells you he's glad he prefers more mounts than gameplay content. Why is your
You could be
enjoyment-
happy to be an idiot. I'm sure there's a lot of happy idiots out
Why
there.
is he? Why is it because he prefers something different than you? He's an idiot.
I mean, why are people with lower IQ idiots? I don't know. It's like
Wait, but that's a mathematical
I'm-
definition.
I'm
there.
defining idiot as someone who likes microtransactions.
So you're defining idiot as somebody who
Yes.
just has different preferences than you.
yes.
That's a non-starter of a conversation, though.
So if I was eating my boogers right now, and they said, "What are you doing? Are you why are you being so stupid?" I'd be like, "No, it's my preference, man. You eat caviar, I eat boogers. It's equal, right?
No.
Why?
Okay, if you actually genuinely enjoyed those boogers,
Yeah,
yes,
I enjoy
that's fine.
boogers.
Good
I
for-
enjoy
good
eating
for
boogers.
you.
You enjoy eating
Good.
caviar.
Good for you.
It's equal.
Then you're fine.
We're equal.
Yes, on our preference of food, yeah, it's equal then.
I mean-
Boogers are edible.
That's the thing I can't argue. I don't know where to see. We're so far apart on this issue that we cannot bridge it in a public discussion.
Dude,
like
you
this.
do you. Look, boogers are edible. Caviar is edible. And if you genuinely get more enjoyment out of those boogers, who am I to tell you otherwise? And who are you hurting?
Who are you? You're my brother. You're my family. You should be telling me otherwise.
No, I thought, dude, that's weird. Like, you probably should do that for social reasons, right? But like, if at the comfort of your home, in your room, you want to eat boogers, I'm not going to stop you.
You know what? I hope you would. Honestly, you know what? If you ate boogers, oh shit, my mic's going crazy again. Look, by the way, guys, see, guys, this is my preference. Look, I like a shitty mic that hurts your ears.
No.
This is not acceptable. Right? I gotta fix this. I can't. So, look, there are things in this world that are better and worse, right? There's a hierarchy of preference. Okay.
All right. Again, no. For video games and yeah, different opinion equal idiot.
No,
feels good, man.
Not
That's what I'm hearing too.
No, there are hierarchies of opinion.
Yes, and your opinion is at the top of the hierarchy, right? Altai?
No. Clearly, I don't know what I'm doing when it comes to mics, right? Like, imagine I said, guys, why are you complaining about my mic? This is the way all great mics are. My mic is as good as. Who has the best mic? Who's the best streamer with audio? Or some ASMR girl with 4 mics, right? These $4,000 mics. My mic is just as good as hers. It's a matter of opinion. Would you guys believe me? No. Why?
One just literally hurts your ears. That's why.
No, it feels great to me.
No, because you're not hearing it. This is a false equivalency where one is objectively just piercing people's ears, and one is your own preference, and it's not impacting. It's just you in your room eating your boogers.
See, look, Rage Gamer's enjoying it. He's gonna replay this part over and over again.
All right.
me and
Seriously,
Rage Gamer.
eating your cum is an intelligent preference. What? Yeah, the Galaxy 7474. I'm not sure what you mean.
Look, I don't want to get sidetracked on this again, but all I'm saying is, okay, let me be diplomatic.
Be diplomatic.
If you agree with me that we need less microtransactions in games, right? Then do me a favor and do yourself a favor, just to your friends and family, not strangers. Just say, hey man, how about you like play an actual retail game together? Like let's play the next retail game together instead of spending this money on these skins for this game. That's all you gotta do. Don't do it to strangers in McDonald's line because then you're an asshole, right? Don't give advice to people outside your circle.
But the point is, like, they might say sure, but like they're also gonna spend that $20 on waifus and fake Grand Order anyway. It's not taking away from that.
Well, I'm saying take it away. Help them. Like, suggest they stop that.
I don't know.
That's all I'm saying. Again, just
From
to people.
games to eating boogers, best podcast ever. 100 biddies. Thank you, the Sewer Wrath. Much appreciated. I'm looking forward to playing Lost Ark Online, but I'm not really too hyped for Red Dead Redemption 2. And Cyberpunk 2077 looked kind of cool, but unfortunately it's single player. But it did look really cool. All right, there's one more another area I want to quickly shuffle us to. We have an old MMORPG dying, Altai. A real old MMORPG dying. Wonderland Online is shutting down after 10 years of service. Altai,
Wonderland Online.
everyone on the stream should hit F to pay respects to Wonderland Online. I doubt anyone's even heard about this game. but it's been running on IGG's portal since December of 2008, and it was actually not an awful game. You heard it here first, boys. That is my ringing endorsement of Wonderland Online. It was not awful. Okay. The cool thing about this game was, if you play the trailer in the video, it was a turn-based MMORPG, almost like a classic Final Fantasy game, but in an MMORPG format, which is really cool because like so few MMORPGs today are turn-based.
That's true. It is original, and I think this company IGG had another one as well. Myth War Online was also turn-based. Atlantic Online is, I think, the last remaining turn-based MMORPG.
Sporeki says, I used to play with my girlfriend. Sad to see it go. And interestingly enough, I had a friend that played this game too, and they said, like, oh my god, this is like the only other MMORPG I played like a lot before Final Fantasy 14. And the first thing I asked him, like, wait a minute, like I really love this game. Like, wait a minute, like you can enjoy this game, but you can't love this game. The only reason you can love this game is if it was your first MMORPG ever. So I'm like, was it your first MMO? Like, yeah, okay. I'm like, that explains everything, right? Because like, if it's your first MMO, obviously you love it. I thought it was kind of fun for its time, only because it was turn-based, and I actually really liked the novelty of the turn-based gameplay. The UI was absolute and utter garbage in this game, but turn-based gameplay was cool.
Yeah, and someone in the chat mentioned, but IGG is a Chinese company, has been shutting down a lot of their PC games, but they found enormous success in the mobile market. Like, I'm talking like Lords Online alone is like 100 times bigger than all their PC games combined were at their peaks.
Yeah.
So Lord,
in fact, I want to show you Altai. Maybe we can see the success of IGG, because we're talking about their game right now. This Wonderland Online is an IGG game. So they released their Q2 2018 earnings report, boys. And let's go through how much money IGG is making across all their games. And you can see their hit titles is Lords Mobile, Castle Clash, Clash of Lords 2, Galaxy 2, and I can't read the text on that last game. But take a look on this list.
Clash
Query, or I can't read that word.
Clash of Crowns, Conqueror.
Is it Conquerors?
It's Conquerors.
Some really whoever put that font there.
This is the Arabian. This is their Arabian version.
So let's see if we can find their mobile revenue versus PC revenue, if they still break it down. I know they used to break it down between in previous reports, but maybe now that mobile is so much, they might not even break it down.
Well,
anymore.
this is the best breakdown I can find. Lords Mobile is the teal here, the blue. Castle Crash is the orange, and all other games, including all of their other mobile games and PC, makes this tiny sliver up here.
Oof. Oh, no, you go see on slide number 18. Actually, it's actually better than that's Global Games Market overview, not their market.
Yeah. Okay,
right.
here's another one. We can find. IGG by revenue distribution by platform. So Android is 53%, iOS 43%.
Which slide?
We are on slide number. Where are the numbers
right.
here? It's 13.
Okay.
So you go to 13, you'll see that 4% is not iOS or Android. So that would include both browser and PC, presumably.
Yes, that's where all the revenue is coming from them by platform. So you can see IGG. They still have Angels Online, and this game, this Wonderland Online shuts down in January 15th, 2019. So it's shutting down, but it's still there. But almost everything for IGG found a lot of success on mobile thanks to their garbage strategy games.
So they do still have some games running, which is Void Century, God's War Online, and Angels Online. After Wonderland shuts down, I'm curious to see how long these three will last. I doubt they make any money between them, to be honest.
And look at slide 18. This is another look at this is based on Newzoo Global Games Market Report. I'm sure we shared that before. It shows you the global games market by genre and region. Obviously, Asia Pacific is gonna be the biggest, and then America. But you can see by 2021, 59% of all revenue will come from mobile games. PC games is being squeezed, guys. In 2018, it makes up 24% of the market. By 2021, it's going to be squeezed down to 19%. Both, console is being squeezed as well. But it looks like the biggest loser here is going to be PC gaming.
Yep. We're going to lose market share along with the console boys.
That's where the money's at, fortunately.
I love this pie graph. So Asia Pacific, North America, and then Latin.
Good old Latin.
Latin squeezes in there.
The rest of the presentation, if you scroll down, is dedicated to showing off like their games. I don't know. All these games are not really looking appealing to me. All their money comes from
So if you guys want to see what Lords Mobile looks like, here's some video gameplay. So it's just you click the little buildings, You click upgrade, you wait like 6 hours, or you pay money, and that's what you do.
That's where it's at, boys.
That's the future.
But
You know
yeah,
what?
Rest in Pepperoni Wonderland Online.
I'm actually not opposed to this gameplay format in and of itself. I for years, since the browser days, games, right?
Mhm.
I've been hoping a good version of this comes out, but so far it's only been cash grabs since Evany. Since the days of Evany, it's been just nothing but cash grabs in this genre.
Let me tell you a little something about Final Fantasy 15, A New Empire. All right, it's objectively the best. It's making so much money. All right. You should play that on. You should play that one day. Give it a try. See what you think.
Isn't it just Game Board reskin?
Yeah, it's the same exact game of Game Over.
I mean, then I've already played it. just with a different skin.
Boo just said 19% of 180 billion is still more than 24% of 130 billion. Yeah, that's true. As a percentage, though, it is getting squeezed. But yeah, it's still out there. But I think the majority of that is still going to come from existing games, because we've seen games like Dungeon Fighter Online, released in 2004, games like World of Warcraft, games like League of Legends. These games have huge runways, right? So these games aren't really disappearing anytime soon. In fact, Dungeon Fighter Online is increasing revenues every year in China, and it's a PC MMORPG. So the PC games aren't going to grow. Even though 19% is going to be a bigger number overall, it's going to come from existing games. I don't see too many big budget PC MMORPGs or online games in the pipeline. All the best talent are going to be going towards mobile. The best developers, the best artists are going to work on mobile games. PC games are going to be residual, stuff that's already out there. DFO is going to keep getting new content updates. World of Warcraft will keep getting expansions because it'll keep making money. But we're not going to get too many new games, which is why it's still, I think, pretty grim for the PC market.
And these are just projections. They could go.
Yeah, nobody knows.
Yeah, nobody knows for sure. They're not too long term. Only 3 years. So I think they're going to be in the right ballpark, but we shall see.
Yeah, I'm sure you project those out even further, the numbers will look even more, unfortunate.
Yeah.
Somebody mentioned VR, and I don't know. I don't think VR is anywhere ready for mainstream gaming yet. It's right now a gimmick, and it's there to show cool VR experiences. There's no real gameplay experience to be had on VR just yet. In fact, we got an email this morning about we're on a lot of press lists for a lot of game companies. So when news comes out for games, they always send us stuff. And I got an email from this company. It's like, yo, we're going to be releasing the world's first VR MOBA. You should cover us, boys. You should totally cover this. I'm like, really? A VR MOBA? Who gives a shit? There's no one's going to play this. VR is not a platform to play serious games on. It's a platform that's cool to have an experience on, look around, look at the environment, get spooky scares, try it out for the first time. It's not developed enough to be a real gaming platform yet. Even Orbis VR, I'm sure, Cass, you'll probably admit to it's a really cool concept, but VR isn't ready for that kind of full-blown experience just yet. VR esports, boys. So yeah, I don't see the excitement for VR just yet.
No, it's just as far away, I think, as it was during those Nintendo.
No, it's definitely closer, I'll tell you, but it's still
think so.
far away from.
What was that called? The Nintendo system, Digital Boy or something?
Virtual Boy.
Virtual Boy.
Virtual. It's yeah. Having sex with anime babes, that's getting closer, Gary the Giraffe. All right, we're getting closer on that goal. So God bless. All right, we're making progress there.
And here's a one funny article that was complimented to Canaris. At least I got it from him.
Mm-hmm.
And this kind of shows you how much the landscape has changed in just a few years. Back in 2014, for April Fools, Diablo said their next game was going to be mobile.
Mm-hmm.
And that was an April Fool's joke.
Pretty funny. They went from April Fool's joke to full meme.
And this is a screenshot of their fake mobile game from 2014. How funny does this look?
You can tell from there, it looked very it was obviously a joke.
Well, this is what a lot of games were like back then in 2014 for mobile.
That's true. A lot of mobile games went from very arcadey, what's that game? Flappy Bird, to being more real games. Look, the thing about mobile games too is they're not fundamentally bad. They could be good. You showed me that one you're playing a mobile game right now, right? I'll tell you, you downloaded it and you showed me
the Epic
what
7. Epic 7.
Epic 7. The game has this beautiful UI and some there's a lot that could be good about that game.
Mm-hmm.
If you didn't just hold on one button down and play automatically.
Yeah. Yeah.
It could be a good game,
I mean,
but it's not.
It could be a good game. It's got good art, good music, good UI. The only thing it's missing is the game part. So it's on. That's the problem with mobile games. They're missing the game part.
Unfortunately.
I like these key feature highlights for this parody mobile game for Diablo back from 2014. Robust interactive storytelling allows every choice to matter in Happy Reaper.
I like it. But yeah, a lot of those games, they look good, but hopefully, I don't know. I think mobile gaming will get better. So I think we shouldn't be so negative on it just yet. But while the current crop sucks, it'll only get better, boys. I'm optimistic. I'm optimistic on it.
Daylight? Are you talking about what was it? Dark and Light? Is that what you're talking about? What's that?
Yeah. Dark and Light is was an Arc-like PC Steam game.
All right. Well, I have an uplifting story. I think we had too many bad stories.
Let's end with something uplifting. What is it all time?
So High Res got the guys behind Smite, Paladins, and Realm Royale, which I think is dead in water. The third one. They are releasing for Switch, and they're also releasing for Xbox and PlayStation, and they're gonna do all of that cross-platform, which I think is really cool. So we're seeing more and more kind of convergence between them. Everyone's got a mitten there.
I'm rocking my mitten. Cross-platform. I mean, yeah, I think cross-platform will only help, especially with like Switch doing well. And console games are huge in America, so the more the merrier, you know. I know Warframe is out for like Switch now too.
Yeah, PS4 won't have crossplay right away, but Sony did say they will eventually allow crossplay, and Hi-Rez did say they have the systems in place when it's all ready. Yeah, Paladins cross-platform.
Not sure about Paladins. I haven't played too much Paladins in a while.
Here, I'll link you guys a story here. That's pretty cool. Basically, so they want to make all their games cross-platform, which is pretty cool.
Let me see if anything else. I think we got most of the news this week.
Yeah, I think that's it. We got a milestone. Star Citizen has reached 200 million crowdfunded money raised. And I think that makes it by far the biggest crowdfunded thing ever, game or otherwise.
Well, yes, and very close to the most expensive video game ever developed.
Yeah, so not counting the marketing budgets.
Yes, not counting marketing budget. I think it's already up there. So like, we don't have official numbers for a lot of games, but our estimates put like Star Wars will probably get like 200 million. I think GTA was like at 200 to 150 million. So it's up there right now as the most expensive video game ever developed. Still working on it, Pocky. Maybe another $20 million and we'll get it. We'll get her done, as they say.
It is amazing to me that it's been going for this long. How long do we want to give them before it's total nonsense? Because we're only on year 6, and there are some games that took more than 6 years to make that ended up being decent games.
Who knows? We'll see if there's I think we're gonna get that single player game, and that's probably it. Is my guess.
All right. Well, never too late to pledge $1,000 for a spaceship, guys. Don't forget.
Nice. All right, and with that, we'll go to the post game, boys.
All right. Thanks for watching. Yep. Stick around if you're on Twitch. See ya.
Later for you two. We'll meme around for a bit.